Okay, so I'm gonna review my last favorite Argento movie. I know there's not many. My favorite. There's only like three I like, but the third one is of course Suspiria, which was released in 1977, and this is of course Argento's masterpiece. If It's always put on lists of best horror films. It's recommended viewing for horror fans. Um, it's his masterpiece. The movie he's most well known for, probably the most famous movie in horror Italian cinema or Italian horror cinema. And I can see why. And I can see why some people think it's overrated. But anyways, the plot is about this young woman who goes to a dance academy in Europe, which I think is in Germany, and some weird stuff starts happening. People are dying and going missing, and she finds out that this is actually a coven for witches. Um, I can see why this movie is considered a classic and a masterpiece. It has a very dreamlike, nightmarish quality to it. Like, if you see the movie, you could tell, like, oh, this is supposed to be like a fairy tale, or like a nightmare, like a hellish fairy tale at that. But it's a very colorful movie. There's a lot of, like, reds and blues and greens and yellows. It's like, has a good color palette to it. It's a very, like, a colorful film. The school looks gorgeous. It's like this old Victorian style school, but it looks like a dollhouse or something. It's like very colorful. Of course, the soundtrack. Goblin is like one of the most famous bands to score horror films, mainly Argento's films, but they also scored Dawn of the Dead 1978, and I can see why they use a lot of ambient music in their soundtracks. And of course they score Argento films, and this one I kind of like their soundtrack for this film more than I think they scored uh Four Flies on Grey Velvet, and I think they did score Deep Red, but I did like the soundtrack for that. But like the main theme of the movie is like very like creepy sound, and has like a lullaby, lullaby, dang, I'm trying to remember, dream, fairy tale like atmosphere to it. And then all you hear is like this demonic sounding thing voice sound going, na 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 na. I mean, it sounds scarier than that when I'm doing, but yeah. Um, what was I gonna say? Uh, some of the death scenes in it are pretty graphic too. And I mean, like, the blood doesn't look realistic, because this is like 70s style blood that looks like, red paint. But I don't know if he was trying not, because the movie's supposed to be like a dream or fantasy, so I don't guess he wasn't trying to make it look that realistic. But there's a very violent death scene in the beginning of the movie, where this one woman, she gets stabbed to death by this demon, and freaking you can see like holes getting stabbed in her and blood spurting out, and then ties a rope around her neck and freaking hangs her, and so there's like a long drop and she hangs there. It's right here. There's a picture of it right there. Uh, uh, I'm guessing Lucio Fulci took some inspiration from this film, because there's a blind character in it who plays the piano at the academy, and I think that the little boy's his son. But anyways, there's this blind character in it, and he has a German Shepherd that follows him around because he's like his guide dog. And they're walking around, and I guess the dog gets possessed and like freaking jumps on and attacks and rips his throat out. And I was like, I wonder where Lucio Fulci got the inspiration from for the death scene in the Beyond. But yeah, this is really creepy scene. Oh, there's another death scene, probably the most infamous one besides the woman hanging. Uh, one of the characters is running through the school and she finds this room because she's being chased by a demon. She's running through the school and she finds this room and she falls into like this pit of this barbed wire and she's trying to crawl out of it. And I was like, oh my god, it's like this fucking, oh my god. I don't know, cause I saw Saw and like I think it was the first Saw where the guy was in the barbed wire trap and that thing was gruesome. Um, yeah, she falls in barbed wire, tries to get out, and she gets cut up and dies. Um, I know I'm not really getting in detail, but I'm trying to. Um, there's another creepy scene where like, cause all the girls are getting afraid to like sleep alone, or women are afraid to sleep alone, so they have to sleep in this one room where there's like a bunch of beds and a curtain surrounding them. So like uh the teachers and the administrators of the academy, keep an eye on. Well, one of the girls, the main character, and another girl, they know what's going on. They know something's up, and you see in the background, you hear like heavy breathing, and you see like someone like chest moving up and down, and then start seeing like this weird shape walking behind the curtain, and you're like, oh my god, what the hell is that? It was, I don't know, you just gotta watch the scene. It's really creepy, and it builds it up. Probably the creepiest scene in the movie. Uh, some of the elements kind of remind me of Rosemary's Baby, because, like I said, the main character, she knows what's going on, and she's getting sick, and the administrators who run the school, they keep giving her like weird cocktails and stuff to like keep her sedated and keep her sick so she won't question anything. And it kind of reminded me of like in Rosemary's Baby when they kept giving her weird cocktails and stuff to make her, to feed the baby, but it was making her sick. And I was like, that's pretty. That was pretty interesting. Pretty interesting callback too. I don't know if he did that intentionally, but that's what it reminded me of. Um, and then there's the big reveal where you find out that's a witch's coven, and like she has to destroy the witch. And the effect looks pretty bad nowadays, but the makeup effects for what she did with her dead friends, and the witch look pretty creepy. Like her one friend, is like all the one that got hanged in the beginning. They're not friends, sorry. The one that got hanged in the beginning before she came there. You see her like a rope around her neck, and she's standing there like this with a knife. I don't know, wasn't it the friend that got caught in the barbed wire, I think? Well, you see her standing there with a knife like this, and the makeup effects look pretty creepy, and it also does for the witch, the main witch. So, but yeah, the only problem I really had with this movie, it did kind of drag for me in certain parts, and I don't know about you, but when I watched it, the sound was very loud, and I don't know why, but it was mainly during the death scenes, or like the build up to it, because you hear like a lot of thrashing or like cymbal crashes and stuff like that. It was like really hurting my ears and stuff, and I was like, oh my god. So I had to like turn it down a lot, but I don't know if anyone else had that problem, but if you did, man. But anyways, that's my review for Suspiria. Not my favorite Argento movie, but it it's still good. Um, I mean, he did deviate from his earlier giallo stuff, which I liked. You know, I was tired. I was kind of getting tired of, you know, standard killer with black gloves running around killing people. But yeah, like I said, I highly recommend this one. And of course, it's being remade this year, so I might watch it. But if you haven't seen it, go see it. Alright, bye.